Deadpool and Korg, two comedic, self-aware characters who talk directly to the audience, break tension with jokes, and never seem to take anything seriously. Both are basically self-inserts. Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi molding Marvel characters into their own image. But while Deadpool became a pop culture icon and one of the most loved anti-heroes in movie history, Korg turned into a running joke about everything that's wrong with modern Marvel humor. Deadpool gets memes, rewatches, and billion-dollar box offices. Korg gets memes too, but usually as the punchline. So how did one become a phenomenon while the other became a punchline? In today's episode, we're breaking down why Deadpool works and why Korg sucks, exploring how authorship, tone, and creative freedom separate sharp satire from shallow self-parody. And before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Silver Screen Hero if you want more Marvel and DC breakdowns like this. Let's start with the obvious. Both Deadpool and Korg are extensions of their actors. Ryan Reynolds isn't playing Deadpool, he is Deadpool. The timing, the sarcasm, the relentless self-awareness, it's all Ryan. He feels like the perfect live-action embodiment of the merc with a mouth. Meanwhile, Korg is Taika Waititi, doing stand-up in a rock costume, soft-spoken, self-deprecating, and awkwardly polite no matter the situation. But here's the difference. Deadpool's self-insert serves the story. It works because Reynolds' personality fits the character. Korg's self-insert, on the other hand, hijacks the story. It draws attention away from the narrative and makes moments feel awkward. I feel like he was the perfect choice for Deadpool. His acting, type of comedy, etc. are all exactly like how I imagined Deadpool in the comics. Deadpool's personality drives the plot. His irreverence is how he copes with trauma, cancer, and a world that treats him like a joke. His humor isn't random, it's armor. Korg, on the other hand, cracks jokes instead of having one. He's not funny because of what he says. He's funny because he's supposed to be. Deadpool's comedy comes from pain. Korg's comedy comes from detachment. The reason Deadpool's jokes land isn't just because they're clever or edgy, it's because they cost him something. Every time he mocks villains, insults the X-Men, or breaks the fourth wall, it's a coping mechanism. He's using laughter to deflect sympathy. Beneath every crude joke is genuine pain, the scars of being abandoned, tortured, and turned into something monstrous. So when he finally drops the act, like when he reconnects with Vanessa, it hits harder because the movie earns that sincerity. Beneath the chaos, there's emotion. Beneath the mask, there's humanity. Korg's humor, however, doesn't come from anything real. It doesn't reflect who he is or where he's from or what he's been through. It's purely directional comedy. Whatever the filmmaker thinks will get a quick laugh. In Thor Ragnarok, that worked. He was a deadpan sidekick in an over-the-top world. His softness balanced Thor's dramatic energy. But by Love and Thunder, the same act became exhausting. The tone collapsed, the stakes rose, gods were dying, and Korg was still narrating tragedy like a bedtime story. The fact that you can cut 97% of Korg's screen time and nothing will change. Deadpool's humor humanizes chaos. Korg's humor neutralizes it. The biggest difference between these two characters? Creative freedom. Deadpool was made outside Marvel Studios. It didn't need to set up a cinematic universe or sell action figures. It was an R-rated gamble, the kind studios didn't want to make. Ryan Reynolds, along with writers Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese, had the freedom to make something brutally honest. No committees, no rewrites for demographics, no studio polish, just pure, character-driven storytelling. Korg, on the other hand, was born inside the MCU machine, a system that flattens everything into the same quippy tone. In Ragnarok, Taika made Korg lovable, but by Love and Thunder, Marvel had absorbed that charm and turned it into formula. Every scene was meta, every emotional beat undercut by a punchline. Whenever Korg spoke, tension died. Deadpool thrived because it didn't need to please everyone. Korg suffered because it tried to. Tone is king in comedy-driven storytelling. Deadpool's tone is absurd, yet consistent. He lives in a world that embraces chaos, fourth wall breaks, cartoonish violence, and hyper-meta awareness, but still knows when to breathe. That's why moments like his death scene or his reunion with Vanessa land emotionally. Amid all the blood and insanity, there's heart. The movie captures this childish aspect mixed with action and violence quite well. And that's it. That's the whole Deadpool concept. It's not a character term that is supposed to not exist on its own. It's like a parody of the Marvel DC superheroes. Korg, meanwhile, exists in tonal limbo. He's a slapstick comedian trapped inside a mythological tragedy. When gods die and civilizations crumble, he's still making jokes about pamphlets. It works once, maybe twice, then it kills the mood. Even his narration in Love and Thunder turns heartbreak into parody. One of my favorite scenes was when I thought he was killed. He had way too much screen time. Deadpool earns his laughs by respecting the world he's in. Korg kills his laughs by refusing to take that world seriously. Deadpool isn't timeless because he's funny. He's timeless because his comedy hides tragedy. Wade Wilson's story is built on loss. He had love, hope, and a future until cancer took it away. Then the experiment that cured him also disfigured him and robbed him of his humanity. It's the classic sad clown archetype done right. The mask hides both his scars and his despair. That's why every wisecrack lands, because it comes from pain. Korg has no such depth. His humor isn't masking grief, it's masking the story itself. He doesn't evolve, struggle, or process loss. He just jokes through it. Korg was a fun character in Ragnarok, but maybe he should have been more of a background character. He was not as funny as I thought he was going to be. Really took away from the seriousness of the situation. If the story doesn't matter to him, why should it matter to us? Deadpool's dialogue sounds like him. Fast, sharp, emotional. Every line reflects his identity. Korg's dialogue, by contrast, sounds like Taika Waititi riffing on set. Sometimes funny, sometimes awkward, sometimes painful. By Love and Thunder, the improv took over. The character wasn't being written anymore, he was just being performed. Improvisation works when controlled, but when it becomes the tone, the story loses identity. Deadpool, even at his most chaotic, has structure. Every joke feels deliberate, every emotional beat feels earned. Marvel's tonal drift is the real villain here. After Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel learned the wrong lesson, thinking audiences wanted jokes everywhere. Humor without contrast is static. It's a song stuck on chorus. Korg embodies that problem, a comic relief valve that never shuts off. Korg was awful. From revolutionary guy in Ragnarok, he turned into issue sidekick that just followed Thor and trying to joke every time he opens his mouth. I don't like that degradation. There was too much unnecessary Korg. Deadpool, on the other hand, uses humor strategically. He mixes silence, sarcasm, and sincerity to control pacing. The MCU used to understand that. Tony Stark had wit and one-liners, but also heartbreak. Korg has wit and more wit. By now, Deadpool's meta-humor should feel overdone, but it doesn't, because Ryan Reynolds plays him with joy and sincerity. Every absurd moment is grounded in affection. Deadpool mocks everything. The studio, the X-Men, even himself. Yet it always feels like he loves what he's mocking. His chaos has purpose. His jokes have heart. Korg, meanwhile, feels like a tired comedian doing the same act one too many times. His scenes aren't joyful. They're mechanical. He's a product of the studio that turned once genuine comedy into formula. Deadpool dares to be offensive, weird, and raw. Korg plays it safe and gets forgotten. So in the end, Deadpool works because his chaos has meaning, his humor hides his suffering, and he's unapologetically himself. Korg fails because he's a self-parody, shaped by repetition, overexposure, and corporate comfort. That's all for today. Why do you think Deadpool works and Korg sucks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're there, hit the like button, subscribe to Silver Screen Hero, and check out the next video here.